Shazam! It looks like it's time for our first ever video while actually being sponsored by Smilegate. Ooh, woo! So first and foremost, what we go into this, I tried to go into this feeling somewhat safe. So I went with Iseria, Destina, and a Dark Corvus. Now, I normally wouldn't plan on doing this. I would probably just like double Soul Weaver this, but I just saw, I was like, you know what, this is a pretty prime opportunity. The first one to go after the Conqueror Lilias is going to be Iseria. We'll reset Dark Corvus, and then hopefully we'll apply Def Down and Buff Block on the Karina. Unfortunately, we do not apply the Def Down, but we only apply the Buff Block. So I was like, oh, okay, well, this should be fine. Because what we're going to do, we'll just go into the Mercedes, just in case she was thick, we'll burn it anyway, and then we'll kill her. So then this activates the Karina, but she doesn't have Def Buff. If she had Def Break, then she would do significantly less damage. So we get hit really, really hard here. We also get Def Broken. Then we, some typical Conqueror Lilias stuff goes in, and because we don't have two healers like I was initially planning on doing, we're taking an absurd amount of fucking damage, and we fucking die. So here, I'm overthinking what it is that I need to do. Hey guys, you want the actual solution here? If you click that little button at the top left, it will show you the fucking turn order, something I didn't think to do. But basically, I didn't remember, one, where my Dark Corvus was on Devil's Descent, and I also didn't remember where he was on the CR bar. Easily fixed by just pressing the top left. Now, here I'm just going for a base heal, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what's going on, because I couldn't remember it all. And then I was like, oh, there's Dark Corvus. Well, in that case, let's just go ahead and murder the entire team. To those of you who are astute, you will probably realize that this is an edit. Because after you kill everything and all you have left is Conqueror Lilias and you have a healer, you win. But either way, on to the next team. So we have Shuna, we have Inferno Khawazu, and we have Elena. So I initially didn't have very much confidence in this team. The only reason why is I hardly ever use Elena. I don't think that I have her built on very, very primo gear, and I just didn't really know quite how to go into this. So now, we've already had the first turn from the Ran, we've completely mitigated everything he first did, and I saw an Illynav. So I was like, yo, this bitch has Elbrus. I'm 100% convinced this bitch has Elbrus. She might even be on counter set. Now, thankfully, I don't get countered on. And now I've already set up the invincibility. So right now we're going 0 for what is this, 1 or 2? Yeah, so this is her first attack. So no injury. We haven't been hit by any injury yet at all. And we're going to see if we can go through the whole thing without any injury whatsoever. Because everything works out super well due to the turn order. Because whenever Elena activates her shit to go in front of everything, basically that's your prime opportunity to do your S3, and it'll give the whole team invincibility. It's kind of hard for me to find spaces to use her, but she is actually really effective if you have a lot of if you're able to just tank a lot of shit on your team. Now, I only have Shuna there just because I was convinced that this was an RNL Ran, and I think it actually is. It's just, I get really lucky and I don't get any RNLs. Like, yeah, so 15% never procs for him. Yay! I'm so good at the game, boys. I didn't get hit by a 15% check. I'm the best. So, now that we've already dealt with Illynav, all we have left to really deal with is Senya and Ran. So, the good news is, we have basically like a counter mechanic or a counter check to dealing with anything that Ran or Senya really does, because they're not... The Senya is not overly fast to a point where you would expect them to be doing back-to-back AoEs and it would really fuck you over. So the Ran is, your typical Ran, fast as shit. So one of them is going to go for the AoE. Like, it all really, really works out. Because, and also this was kind of a mistake. I could have just easily burned that and killed the Senya right here. I wasn't thinking about it. Whatever. But, so here's this AoE coming in. And we should proc our stuff here. Which we do. Hooray. And I'm pretty sure the Rand's S3 is also coming through really, really soon. Because I don't think we managed to heal twice. Because you need to have a 2-turn buffer in between the AoEs. Yeah, so like here's one back-to-back where I could get stripped, I could get hit, all that other jazz. But thankfully my Shuna has like a fairly decent amount of effect res, so we're not dealing with an RNL situation of 2-3-1-1, which is, I guess, like that's like code lingo for, hey, S2, S3, S1, S1, because RNL is a completely fair and balanced fucking artifact. But yeah, we don't deal with any of that shit, because we get mad lucky. We're mad good at the game. You know what? Fuck it. Hey guys, it's RNG manipulation. I'm so good at video games. I'm a speedrunner. But either way, it all works out extremely well. I was very surprised by how effective Elena was during this fight. I really initially had no confidence in her, but hey, it worked out super well. Now, onto like the next two matches, like the next two rounds. These rounds essentially are breaks. So, first and foremost, yeah, Conqueror, Lilias, Kayron, and Choux. Well, guess what? I learned real fucking quick. Oh, so this Choux has no effect res. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this for all it's fucking worth. Let's just keep attacking into the Choux, and we'll see just how long we can manage to prevent her to use her S3, which isn't even really a big deal. Because the big thing with Choux is, anytime you're going into Choux, your chances of getting counterattacked are kind of high, because they're almost always on a counter set. In fact, I don't think there's any Choux that are not on counter set. I really don't know. But after she uses her S3... Oh, by the by, right here is the attack that hits me, and then suddenly, oh, cool, I don't give a fuck. Because I was initially scared that this Kayron was going to be strong as fuck. Because, I don't know, after I got hit by that one Kayron a while ago who only had Vigor and did 15 fucking thousand to my Roana, it's like, oh, well, that's cool. So I went into this like doubly prepared with a mitigator, an Aureus user, a fucking def buff. I went in with way too much shit. But either way, like I was talking about Choux earlier. So she only does her counterattack shenanigans like when you hit another unit if she's used her S3 already. Which is honestly kind of stupid. But like, I mean, that's not what makes or breaks Choux. The big thing that makes Choux like pants shittingly retarded is her S2. If they were to just edit the S2 to just take away the base like def pin that's on the S2, 100% this unit's like the unit's legit and not overpowered. So maybe that's why if they were to do that, then you would suddenly just never see Choux anymore, because then she doesn't do crazy ass upset shit like S1, S2, and then her turn S2 doing well over like 11,000 to 16 fucking thousand damage or some shit. I don't know, maybe that would be a problem. But either way, we managed to go almost 20... Yeah, actually like 25 turns. We went 25 turns deep into the Choux not actually able to do anything. And because of how we're doing damage right now, we're basically utilizing Rocket Punch on Shadow Knight Pyllis. Like I said, I went through this shit extremely safe. I was convinced that this Kayron was going to be hyper fucking strong. Turns out this Kayron's really not that big of a deal, because he's also not running effect res. So it was weird. This Kayron was, one, slow as fuck, and he also wasn't incredibly powerful. I mean, maybe it's because I went into this really, really like doubling down, and I had def buff on every unit, and I was just super, super prepared that it didn't come across like it was a threat. But hey, after I got hit by that one Kayron that did so much damage and pretty much almost one-tapped my Roana on turn 1 without attack buff, yeah, I'm not fucking with that shit no more. But either way, pretty standard fight. Like I said, like these next two matches are really going to be more of just breaks, because the first round of the last match and then the final round of the very, very last match are pretty much where all the crazy shit in this Guild War really was. Like, the first one was a matter of, like, my own fault of, hey, if you're ever unsure, just click that top left button. It'll tell you everything that's gonna happen. Well, I mean, I'm stupid like that. And then for the next fight right here, I also go into this very, very safe. So I went in with a Destina, an A-Momo, and Dark Corvus, pretty much just because, like, oh, like this is what I would have done for, like, the first match. Hey, bringing 2 Soul Weavers and then Dark Corvus to go into things. So the big thing that I'm wanting to do first is, hey, let's just get as many hits into the Dark Corvus as possible, going ahead and get our Devil's Descent up, and then we'll go into the Mercedes, kill her, and we're pretty much free. So, like, I mean, I don't even need to really talk about this anymore, because what we're doing is we're just farming for Devil's Descent until we can just go ham-hocks crazy. But either way, I really don't have much else to say about it. It's super, super standard. Ahmed's there to pretty much annoy the ever-loving piss out of me by providing skill nulls at every possible fucking moment. Like, yo, legit, it's so hilarious how, like, Fallen CC got skill crept by Ahmed just because Ahmed is retard fast and can do so much dumb shit with her S2 S3 combo that, like, oh yeah, fuck it, we don't need damage mitigation or shields anymore. Fuck it, we'll just spam skill nulls. Yay. But with that, hey, turn whatever that Dark Corvus gets Devil's Descent, Shazam, the Mercedes is dead. And now all you have left is Ahmed and Senya. And fortunately for us, the Senya's not even, like, high on the effect res. Like, she's not even high. She can get provoked by the Dark Corvus. But, like, right now, to those of you who may be astute, you're probably realizing, man, Lucent really doesn't have much to say about this match at all. Yeah, you're 100% correct. I'm doing this thing called stretching for time. Because there's nothing to actually talk about. This is, like, the biggest problem when you use Dark Corvus in content. Dark Corvus is easily one of the most overpowered fucking GuildWar units in the fucking game. There is no question. Especially because we're in a light meta where everybody uses fucking Savior Adin or some other light cancer. So the problem with using Dark Corvus, at least for content purposes, is the fact that, like, it's an incredibly boring style of content or match to really comment on. Oh, hey, cool, it's Ahmed doing Ahmed shit. Thanks for wasting more of my time, you fucking bitch. But yeah, when it comes to Dark Corvus, there's nothing to talk about. Hey, you wait until Devil's Descent comes up, then you Soulburn Devil's Descent, and then the unit go poof. That's pretty much it. That's the basis for every Dark Corvus match you could ever possibly imagine. And the only reason why things go wrong are either, one, you're getting gear gapped yourself, and the person who, like, hits you is strong as all ungodly fuck, or, like, some weird speed tuning shit happens, and then you weren't able to get your combo off before they did something weird to you. That's, like, the only real thing that can go wrong anytime you're using Dark Corvus. And, like, and then you end up having this particular problem right here. Like, let's say that this Senya was on high effect res. So if the Senya was on high effect res, then we would be taking, like, twice the amount of time just to get to our turn so we can kill it, because that Senya would be going into my A-Momo. Because of, you know, like, elemental advantage shenanigans when it comes to AI. But thankfully for us, we're getting the one little hit into us, and it's not taking... It could take even less time, because the way in which the Dark Corvus' S2 works is whenever he's crit, he gains 2 cooldown focus, or 2 cooldown reductions on his S3. But if he's hit with just a regular attack, it's only a 1-turn cooldown reduction. But either way, yeah, let's go ahead and get through this fucking fight. I'm so sick and tired of talking about Dark Corvus shit. But either way, hooray! That was our mid-match done. Now let's go into the fun shit. So, I see Conqueror Lilias, and I see Alencia, and then I also see ae-KARINA. And it's like, this is a whole bunch of, like, annoying-ass shit that I just don't even want to fucking deal with. And thankfully, they're all pretty slow. And because of them being slow, well, okay, if you're not going to take your turn, I'll take my turn, and I'll just pretty much shut you all the fuck down. So I brought Shuna here, and she's also not rocking the EE that gives a higher chance of sleep. I'm actually kind of considering maybe starting to utilize that EE more. I'm just using the one that gives more, I think, barrier, and it's probably not worth it, but I don't know. Either way, so we're pretty much going to be doing some absolutely degenerate, very evil control shenanigans to this team. So we have 2 units on this team that can potentially put something to sleep, and then we also have another unit that can reset cooldowns, that being Sharun. So there is a small mistake that I'm making right here, and that is I'm going into ae-KARINA while she has immunity up with Sharun. Don't do that. Anytime you have a unit that has like immunity up and you need to like just throw an S1 out there, don't throw it into a unit that has immunity, because you're just basically wasting your turn. And hey, looky there, Sharun's a fair and balanced character. She already has S3 again. My Sharun's not fast, by the way. Not at all. And she's able to turn cycle like a motherfucker. It's absolutely crazy. I kind of feel like Sharun might have been overtuned a tad whenever she got her buffs. I mean, it feels kind of necessary, because otherwise I would never really use her in the first place. But either way, Cloud of Death time number 1.
I guarantee it.
Oh, hey, look, none of you have any effect res, because my Death Dealer Ray actually isn't rocking an absurd amount of effectiveness. The one who has a lot of effectiveness is actually Sharun. I really need to actually enhance her gear. She's got decent gear, but it's like it's all into effectiveness and nowhere near enough effect res. I need to have like 120 or something effect res, because I get fucked over by random provokes all the time in Arena against things like Bellions or even Senyas, for that matter, because I like to run this particular comp a lot in Arena just because it's fun. Like, Death Dealer Ray is just straight up fun. Like, this unit is mad fun. If you ever played any particular... Like, this playstyle reminds me heavily of Spirit Master from Ion. And if you've never played that, it's an MMO where the whole playstyle is debuffing an opponent to death. You have no burst damage and no damage at all. All of your damage is DOT. And that's what this shit reminds me of. It's amazing. Now, onto the test for Taranor Royal Guard. So ultimately what happens is exactly what I feared. So this is an Ahmed, Kise, and a Savior Aiden comp. Now what happened was Savior Aiden went first. Now because of that, you can't guarantee who the target's going to be. And because Savior Aiden gives invincibility to the entire team except for herself, that did fucking nothing. So that big hit that she just did onto my Taranor Royal Guard legit did fucking nothing. So now I have to just kind of wait my time out, and I'll see what we can do to move forward. Now, right here, I'm not too worried yet, but I do realize, okay, I should probably get rid of that skill null. Honestly, it's something that I didn't need to do. Mainly because I took a lot of unnecessary damage, and I just have to throw out my S3 now. So now Destina doesn't have S3 heal. Kind of a problem, because we might need it. But here, we get hit by another Kise attack, does fairly decent damage, and a really strong hit from Savior Aiden, but then that kills her because she did too much damage. Now, here was where like a little bit of miscalculations come in. I was hoping this would kill, but I mean, I think that was asking for a lot, and we did a fairly decent amount of damage. And I'm thinking, okay, we are so close, we should be able to kill this now. But the team is just fast enough that they're going to cut through all of my other units. And then here come... Oh, looky there! This bitch has Gab. Okay, well, cool. Taranor Royal Guard's dead. And hey, cool, what's element advantage, guys? So now my mitigator and my reflector is dead. So I only have one option left. I can try to just see if I can go, if I can last out these turns as best I can, because this is where Guardian Ice Crystals really, really comes in handy. Because anytime you take big-ass damage, and Destina's the only target, you're going to at least heal yourself fairly decently with Guardian Ice Crystals. So here's hoping that we can just survive. I'm getting very, very desperate at this point, and I feel like I can survive as long as I don't get hit by element disadvantage horseshit. And good lord, that is a Gab and a fucking crit damage buff, and I still survived it. So this Kise is just really fast and not as strong. But either way, we managed to pull through for that little bit. It looked really hopeless, and then suddenly, let's bring back the crew, boys. So, it's Kise's turn next. Thankfully, I am just tanky enough, like, seriously, 32,000 HP on my Taranor Royal Guard. He survived that hit from the Kise, and then I also take the hit from the Ahmed. She crits him, and because she crit him, she killed herself right there. Now, this was a mistake right here as well, because I'm not used to using Taranor Royal Guard, so I completely forgot, oh yeah, he's the one with the highest HP, so he's gonna be the one that's attacked. So I could have just healed him, just to guarantee it, but either way, that was it right there. That match was fucking incredible. So, when it comes down to, like, that last match in general, the Taranor Royal Guard strat, it did work. It like we won, so you can say it worked. But at the same time, man, I feel like I didn't go into something that hit hard enough. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. And also, if the Kise had gone first, and if the Kise had gabbed, I think I would have been okay. Because then the Kise would have just immediately died, and then all you would have had left is, like, save your Adin. And then you could have gone into the Ahmed, you know, here and there, blah, 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 blah. And then you would have done a big heal, and eventually you could bring back your Taranor Royal Guard if he died to, like, the save your Adin. So that was basically what was going through my head of, like, how this could go. But, of course, you have no control over how that match is actually going to function. You really don't. And I'm still not aware of, like, what the best method of fighting that team slow is. Like, the easiest method is straight up just outspeed it. If you outspeed it, then you stop the entire thing from, like, going into you really, really hard. So you could Zeo into Ahmed, but then there's a chance that the Ahmed actually has some effect resist, and it's not as fast as you might have initially expected. And then there's also the chance that you just get 15%ed. So it's like, that's why I don't like to rely on speed shit. I like to at least see if I can tank that attack, and I just haven't found a very consistent method of tanking the Ahmed Kise Savior Adin cleave. But either way, this Guild War was fucking great. This guild made me feel alive. I appreciate it. So hey, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. Have a good one. Later.